healing can be addictive.
Oh,
You
yes.
know, you think,
Yes.
I need to heal this, I need to heal this. In the beginning, I did this too, but there will be a point where I said, okay, enough is enough. I'm going to put my energy into the future, you know, and whatever shows up in the future, I'm going to deal with that right now or right then. And
Mhm.
I'm going to continue move forward.
Welcome back to the show. You are tuning in to the Consciousness OS portal. I'm your host, Katryn Rose, and today we are speaking with a fascinating individual about medical intuition and ancestral healing, Fatih Turan. He is of Turkish-Mongolian descent, and Fatih was naturally drawn to shamanism and Sufism, paths that shaped his mastery of energy healing through cosmic and earth energies. In 2006, a life-changing spiritual journey led him to Wudang Mountain in China, where he lived with Taoist monks and deepened his healing practice through their teachings and way of life. Fatih, welcome to the show.
Hi, Catherine. How are you?
I'm really well. I'm so excited that you're here today and to talk about this topic. So,
Right.
um, I want to just dive in for our viewers that are here. Do you want to start by telling us a little bit about your background and how you got into energy healing or that spiritual change event?
Sure. I I started out as a construction worker in Germany,
Okay.
road construction later on and landscaping, had 3 years of education. I was done by the age of 19 and continue work couple of years. And then I thought I need to bring a change into my life.
Hmm.
I decided to apply at the film company in Germany, in Cologne. And luckily, I got in, and I had 1 year of stunt training because I had also martial arts training as a kid.
Hmm.
That was the first time where I entered into the film industry, and I worked as a stunt guy, did stunt fighting, a little bit of acting. After 1.5 years, my contract ran out, and I got kicked out.
Oh
It's that
no.
that's the film industry. You're in, you have a highlight, and boom, if nothing going on, you're out.
Okay.
So I went back home and I sat there thinking about, okay, it's I need to do something now. I took a leap of faith. I
Uh-huh.
put two luggages together and told my parents I'm leaving. And they asked me where they're gonna leave. I said, I'm gonna go to China and have hardcore martial arts training
Oh,
in a
wow.
monastery. And then I'm going to study acting, and then I'm going to have a lead part. That was my vision, you
Okay.
know.
Got to have a
So
vision.
when I went to China in 2006, I was on fire. I was training like every day 6 hours. I got really good in shape. But then I start to burn myself out. And my master told me, if you don't slow down, you
Hmm.
not make it. So he told me, okay, now stop. Just focus on Tai Chi and Qigong.
Oh, wow.
And that's where this energy healing starts to take over.
Okay.
I understood about the meridians, the organs, the emotions, and it really calmed me down. And I realized after a few months, hey, that feels really good. And he told me about how I can use Qigong on a daily basis to calm myself down, not be always on fire. Yeah.
Mm.
So that's where I learned the first healing modalities, I would
Okay.
say.
That's where you started.
Yeah, and then after this year, and I had this plan. I want to study acting. So I went back to Germany and they told me if you want to study acting, it's 4 years full time. It's like a soldier. I said,
Hmm.
okay, I can't afford that. That's too expensive. 25,000 euro. I can't work, you
Hmm.
know. And in China, I met a guy from Vancouver, from Burnaby. It's like a small neighborhood in Vancouver. He told me about William B. Davis Center. Yeah, it's good acting school. So I said, okay. So I flew over to Vancouver. I got into the full-time program, luckily. I guess it was meant to be. It was everything was flowing well, you know? I graduated in 2008, and then I got out of the acting school, and it was my vision to have, and I nailed the lead part down, you know? It's like in
Hmm.
a feature film. So I achieved all the stuff that I wanted to achieve, but
Awesome.
internally I was not satisfied because it didn't brought me any happiness, you know?
Mm.
And during that time, Vancouver, very spiritual. I was living in a small neighborhood called Kitsilano, all hippies, yoga, meditation. And I injured my back while I was teaching martial arts,
Oh,
you
wow.
know? Yeah, and because of the construction work, I had already herniated disc a bit, you
Hmm.
know, lifting. So then I said, okay, I don't want to have any surgery. What other options do I have? And luckily, you know, I had a friend who told me to try Bowen therapy. And I said, what is that? It's like this and this. So I worked with a naturopathic a doctor, and she started to perform the Bowen therapy on me. It felt really good, you
Hmm.
know? And then stuff starts to come out. And I said, what is that? You know, yeah, it's suppressed emotions, you know, out
Okay.
of your childhood and this and this and that. And it just pulled me into this healing world, you know? And later on it was bioenergy healing. And then I said, okay, this everything works well for me. So
Hmm.
I took all the courses that helped me. So starting that till I would say 2022, like over a decade.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, Over a decade, I was educating myself, learning self-healing. But in 2018, I met a shaman from California, Ariane Thomas, and she was a powerful healer. She's still a powerful healer. And I was in a dark time, 2018, as if, you know, I was cornered into a dark place. And I said, I'm doing all this healing. What is that?
Hmm.
And when I contacted her, she told me people find her when they are ready to
Yeah.
do the real healing work. I said, what do you mean, real healing? Real healing is not easy because you have to change, you have to take more responsibility. And we started doing this ancestral healing, and you know, it's something just coming out of me, out of more and more. We did like several sessions, and then she told me, like, I had lots of blockages coming from my dad's lineage.
Okay.
And it went all the back, many, many generations, you know. And I said, why am I responsible for it? She said, you're not responsible for it. Your soul signed up to go through this process to become a shaman and healer.
Mm.
I said, okay, okay. So, and she said, just, you know, it's never ending. You heal a layer, something else shows up. And it went deeper and deeper and deeper, you know, and this went on, I would say, till 2022.
Uh-huh.
But I had this tipping point in 2021. You know, I said I could feel, I live now 14 years in Vancouver. I think that's the end of the chapter, you
Hmm.
know, 2 7 year cycles. And I said, I'm not going to repeat this cycle again, you know?
Yeah.
So that was during the Corona times. And then I said, I left Canada. I said, thank you, Canada. You helped me a lot. I had a beautiful time there. I moved back to Germany, and I met this Turkish woman online. Actually, my sister introduced me to her. She did psychic surgery.
Okay.
Said, okay, maybe it's another layer.
Sounds like
And yeah. And she said, okay, we did 4 levels. So it took me 14 months to complete all 4 levels. And I worked on a daily basis. That was intense.
so.
It,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
Yeah, and then after 14 months, I was certified as a master healer, psychic surgery, and that was the tipping point for me, where I said, okay, I'm gonna move on to teaching and offer more healing because this healing can be addictive.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
you think,
Yes.
I need to heal this, I need to heal this. In the beginning, I did this too, but there will be a point where I said, okay, enough is enough. I'm going to put my energy into the future, you know, and whatever shows up in the future, I'm going to deal with that right now or right then. And
Hmm.
I'm going to continue move forward because you can't go back in your lineage. There was a time we did a session. I was in Mongolia. It's like past life because Turkish people are Mongolians
Hmm.
originally. And we are in the same linguistic category like Koreans and Japanese. So there was this warrior stuff going on, within me, like this fighter, martial arts and weapons and movies and stunts and fighting. It says, but you will exhaust yourself, you know,
Uh,
because acting is not always about, it's like fighting. No, no, no. And I'm in love, for example, with Anthony Hopkins, and
hmm.
he sometimes he's so silent and calm. It's scary, where he says nothing. He just looks at you,
Okay.
and you can't like you this internal relaxation, where you are in your own body, own temple, and stuff is happening. It's coming out of your eyes, your aura. And then I realized, okay, if I want to live in my body, in this temple, for the rest of my life,
Hmm.
I need to do the clearing internally,
Right.
right? The more you relax, the more the traumas come up, right? That's why we are in a hurry, we are more in a masculine energy, pushing.
Hmm.
But healing requires divine feminine energy. Relax, you know?
I know. I had to learn that the hard way. It took me over a
Yes,
decade. Can I ask you a question before we continue into your story? Because it
sure.
sounds like you have learned and experienced for yourself many energy healing modalities. You talked about bioenergy and the bone healing and living in the monastery and then the ancestral healing. Were you a practicing healer as well while you were doing this, or were you doing other work like over these years?
Okay. I was teaching Qigong in Vancouver and Tai Chi and
Okay.
martial arts.
Oh, okay. So
So,
working with energy in a different
yes,
capacity.
yes. And I continue with that. Then in 2015, I moved to Slovenia and learned the bioenergy healing.
Okay.
I learned it and I start to offer it by donation for 2 years, just by donation. I said, I'm going to be really good at it.
Hmm.
And it's been 10 years now, but the first 2 years, it was exhausting
Why is that? Why did you find it exhausting?
because when you work with people and you don't know this technique that well in the beginning,
Hmm.
it costs you energy because you try to control it.
Right.
So, and then I did this hundreds of clients, it's bioenergy healing, just offering, some offered $50, some 150, $300, depends what they can afford. But in this process, I became so confident in it. It was just like a meditative state right now when I work with people, because I know exactly what I'm doing right now when it comes to bioenergy healing.
Hmm.
Yes. Okay.
I would say so. We've had the opportunity to work together a little bit, and you're very gifted. Like,
Thank
so,
you.
but I didn't know a lot of your background until right now. We haven't known each other that long. And I've become friendly with another healer that you worked with a couple years ago. And I didn't know there was a connection until recently, who also talked about how gifted you are and what you can see and what you can do. So, have all these techniques and training and like working with these hundreds of people with each modality, has that helped you really tap into the gift of medical intuition that you have? Like,
Yes. Yes.
okay.
There's another story.
Okay. I
if
love
I
stories.
I
Yes,
think
please.
like my life was always this chaotic here and there, but in this chaos you find some beauty, and you realize everything was constantly destructive and not settling down somewhere, but underneath that there was a spiritual journey.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like God that doesn't want me to settle there. He wants me to move to the next thing. So
Yeah.
as a Turkish, usually all my friends are married, have children, they have houses, and I'm 47. It's like it's for my parents and family, it's like it's something absolutely ridiculous what I'm doing. It's like
Oh, yeah, I know.
I was the only one who broke out of everything. I broke all the rules and laws, that they try to put me into. But the seeing abilities, Catherine, I had a surgery at the age of 5 in Germany.
Uh-huh.
It was a small incision. There was something funny in my stomach. And what happened was the professor who did the surgery overdosed me by accident with anesthesia.
Ugh. Oh.
That blew my third eye and my crown chakra totally open.
Oh, wow.
And I learned that at 41 when I'm coming back to that because I went also to a hypnotherapist in Germany to find out. I always want to find out what the root cause is, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and it was
Yeah.
hidden. So I was for decades in a hypnotic state
Mm-hmm.
because it was like an ayahuasca ceremony, the Western version without the shaman. It's just uncontrollably.
Mm-hmm.
And I start to see all these things, and as a kid, and told my parents, "Don't you see that?" Was seeing shadow stuff. I was afraid, 5, 6,
Mm-hmm.
7 years old, very afraid. Later on, it's like when I got into healing, I continued healing. All this healing helped me. At the age of 36, I went to Cappadocia, central Turkey,
Mm-hmm.
and my sister introduced me to a shaman. He was doing like Sufi stuff. And he told me what I've experienced as a child. It was like, boom, something happened. And he brought me back somehow into my body, you
Okay.
know. And when I came back, Catherine, I was seeing people transparent. I was seeing everything, what's going on in their organs, where they have blockages, inflammation, trauma stored in their body.
Mm-hmm.
I start to offer it to first my family members, then friends. And after a year, I had this strange experience where I saw their parents behind them and I could see how
Mm.
things passed down.
Okay.
And then I created this ancestral lineage analysis where I go several generations back and how things passed down and ended up within our body. So that's my own method of medical intuition that I created.
I think that's fabulous and really interesting because I know, like, when I was talking to you about my own stuff, we don't have to get into that. I felt like you could see right through me. Like, and I was like, oh no. No, I mean it's good, but it was unsettling. But now I understand that the way you just described how you can see like the ancestors standing behind the person and the generations back and the information that you had brought forward to me was fascinating and still unfolding a little bit in one thing that we hadn't had the opportunity to talk about. So I think that's interesting. And I think too, it's good for our listeners to hear that sometimes people like yourself have these gifts. You've done a lot of training, but you create your own way of doing the work that's valid through all your training and the lived experience and the gifts that come through.
Hmm.
Because I work with some people who are like, oh, you always have to be certified and blah, 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 and like disregard that sometimes the natural ability that really shows the truth or shines light on what you said earlier. I love that phrase, the root cause.
Yes.
Um, And is that really a big part of your work, whether it's medical intuition, ancestral healing, or all the other modalities, is getting to the root cause for someone so that they don't
Yes.
have to stay in the healing hamster wheel?
Yes. No, this helped me, also helped lots of my clients. They are searching, what should I do? Should I heal the divine feminine? Should I heal the divine masculine? And I feel like they don't know what they're talking about. It's like,
Well, because it's all over social media, right?
yeah, everyone is a spiritual teacher. I mean, everyone is spiritual somehow,
Hmm.
but there's also lots of information by people who just want to be seen a bit, that's okay. Um, so I tell them all the root cause, Katryn, all the root cause people are going through, whatever it is, if we trace it back, it ends up with one single person. And this person is our mother. And she's the divine feminine. And that's what
Okay.
brings healing. The
Mm.
way it came through our ancestral lineage, through her into her womb while she's pregnant with us, you know, and
Hmm.
we are born into the physical world. And then we branch out and we can reflect then. Okay, reflection is the art. It's not easy, but uh, you know, being capable of reflecting enough, it's good, but it's very triggering. So,
Yeah.
okay, so you feel, this person is my soulmate, or twin flame, or karmic, whatever. And after ancestral healing, I realized, okay, this person reflects something back at me, you
Yeah.
know?
The mirror.
Yes. So, and when you take responsibility and do proper reflection, you're gonna feel that you are that person,
Hmm.
you know? And then if you want to find the root cause, that will lead us back first to our mother and through our mother into the ancestral lineage somewhere.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Does it ever, and I understand why you're talking about the mother, but when you do the ancestral work, does it also ever bring threads to the father's side, or is it always the mother's side?
Yes, it's also the information from our father
Okay.
and through the sperms into her womb,
Hmm.
right? So all the information from our ancestral lineage comes through our mother, you
Okay.
know?
Gotcha.
And let's take an example. Your grandmother on your mother's side had beef with her husband,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to think about it for a second.
Yes. And then somehow her unexpressed emotions or suppressed emotions pass down towards the generational curse breaker, the healer, which is you.
Hmm.
And now you grow up, you look at man, and you have these judgments and you don't know where they're coming from. Oh my God. You know, it's like we carry this stuff. That's why, and people come into our life to trigger us. Yeah.
Oh, don't they ever? Yeah.
So before we respond, step back, just breathe, you know,
Hmm.
breathe. Is like you're gonna feel after that. That's not me. It flows through me,
Right.
and I have the chance to transform it right now within myself and not continue this generational pattern.
So how do you do that? Like, is
Uh,
it?
I do it first. I do the medical intuition. I look within, where
Hmm.
they store traumas. I check also the chakras and the different systems within the body. And then I take a look. Okay, it comes through your mom, but it can spread around in your ancestral lineage.
Hmm.
So when we do that, it gives the client a little bit clarity and calmness, right?
Okay.
Okay, I know what I'm working on, right? I don't need to wander around, what should I do? I lead them straight to the root cause.
Okay.
It grounds them somehow. They feel better. I have a
Hmm.
connection now. And then I use the ancestral lineage clearing, which I learned from the shaman. And It's 2000 since 2018, and I'm still working with her,
Okay.
maybe every 6 months or once a year.
Hmm.
God bless her a long life. She's in her way above 60, close to 70. It's like I want to continue work with her if I have to.
Yeah.
Without her, Katryn, it would be impossible. I would be here right now. There are layers within us we don't have access to. Some people say, you have, yes, but you need a proper teacher who can guide you through these dark places.
Okay. So that is going to be a question I was going to ask you.
Sure.
Is it really imperative for healers who do this work, ancestral or getting to root cause or whatever energy work, to have a good mentor, guide, master, like in the monastery, to help them, even when you come in with a lot of natural gifts? Like,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, because we talked about it before, Uh, I call myself a healer, but I can only heal myself. So people ask me, okay, what are you doing? I said, the healer creates the right frequency and holds
Mhm.
space,
I'll write that
and
down.
it triggers the client's own healing abilities, right? So, and the teacher or the healer is a guiding light, so to say, to bring the darkness into the light, make the unconscious conscious.
Hmm. Right.
Uh, yeah.
So it's not like you're getting a certification program online. You're working with someone really who, I mean, sometimes there's certifications, but someone who's walked this path and has more knowledge and depth and experience that can continue to help you unfold your gifts in your practice to support people that come to you, right? Is, you know, not just because it's cool, right? It's like you really strike me as someone in the conversations we've had of someone who really wants to help someone get to the root cause so they can move on. And like you said earlier, move forward and have
Yes.
peace or do something else in their life. Right.
Yes. Because nothing will be shown to us if it's not within our existence. So while you're moving forward, whatever was in the past, this ancestral programming will be shown to you in the physical world, right? While you're moving forward, as above, so below, as within, so without, you
Right.
move forward, you face an obstacle. You said, okay, I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna take a look what that is. I look within. If I can't find it myself, I'm gonna contact someone who knows how to guide me. And
Okay.
I know it is ancestral. Like ancestral healing is so important. When people talk about inner child healing, they talk about ancestral healing. You
Mm,
know, if people are born with something, diabetic, asthma, bronchitis, cancer, tumor, whatever it is, if they are born with it, it is ancestral. You know, there's so much, if people talk about generational curse breaker, they talk about ancestral healing. Like there's so much value that we don't look at, you know,
right.
because it requires lots of responsibility and sacrifice. If
Yeah.
I, it's like if I want to go to the next level, and this bag is full of memories, and some of them are revenge. Okay, I'm gonna drag you guys. I'm gonna. It's no. You have forgive, let go, and then you. That's what happens.
Yeah. That sounds like the easy version of what happens. I've been doing it too. And there's a lot of resistance from people to take the responsibility and do it because it's easier, or it appears easier to ignore it and not do it, but actually life is a lot harder. And when you take the time to do some of this work, life can get a lot easier in a lot of other ways. I mean, it's bumpy through it, but down the road, it's much easier.
Yeah, and you feel more grounded within yourself.
Yes.
There is this, even when it's uncomfortable, there's something within you that says, I'm on the right track. It's a bit heavy sometimes, but that's the reality of life, you know? Some say, okay, you won't get anywhere without pain and suffering. I thought, okay, maybe that, but there's a truth in it, People who try to be successful, whoever, they went through a period of isolation, pain, suffering, as if the old version within them is burning away and the new version comes forth, you know? It's, yeah, that's quite a process.
It is. So when you do these processes and work with people, do you almost always start with the medical intuition, or does it depend on what the client is presenting with or what they want to work on?
Yes. When I'm talking to a client and when they book a session, they give me also permission to look at it. So,
Okay.
because I never work without permission.
Mm-hmm.
People
Nice.
come also on Clubhouse, you know. It's like I always ask for permission first.
Mm-hmm.
When they come and they talk to me and I look at them and the way they talk doesn't resonate with their emotional body, then I said, okay, slow down. It's because we can make things up.
Mhm.
I have problems with my relationship. Okay, all these guys, all these girls, they're all, yeah, let's slow down. Let's come back to your parents first, let's come back.
It's always
And
easier to blame the other person, right? Not
yes,
look at ourselves, look at our lineage,
yes,
and
because it's all about, it's within.
right,
The
taking
outside world
ownership.
is just a reflection.
Ah,
And when I tell them, how was the relationship between your parents? And oh my God, yeah, you're so right. It's okay. I attracted a man who's like my dad, or again, like my dad. It's always this. I said, okay, slow down. Okay, breathe, you know, and then we dive deep into it. And I do it step by step. I intuitively listen to their body. I
mm-hmm.
know where the triggers are. So I'm very careful with highly sensitive people.
Okay.
Usually I search and find a small window and tell them, okay, if I approach this client like this,
Mm-hmm.
she would be more open to talk about it
Yes.
instead of boom, getting into it.
Mm.
Okay, to answer your question, people who book the medical intuition want to first take a look at it, what that is,
Mm-hmm.
I deal with. And then they think about it. Okay, and their intuition tells them when I'm ready, I will come. So it's they tapping slowly into it to digest this information,
Right. And
right?
and you're really good. Like in my experience, I worked with many healers, partly out of curiosity, partly like that, oh, all the layers of healing. But when we did, I don't know if it's when we did the ancestral healing or we had talked before that. We talked about a few things, but you were looking at me and you said, oh, there's something wrong with your right toe. And I'm like, not so much. I'm like, there's a little pain there, but and I have bunions and I didn't think a lot of it. And then a couple weeks ago, I noticed because I was like, I need a new pedicure, right? That the toenail on my right toe had not grown in 3 months because I knew I hadn't had a pedicure in 3 months. And you could see all the other 9 toes, the growth in the nail. I was like, isn't that interesting? And then the pain started to recur in the last couple of days. And I'm like, I'm going to go get another pedicure. And when they took the nail polish off, though, you could see all the damage in the nail that hadn't been there before. And I was like, oh, he knew that. And he knew that over Zoom, but with even no video. We were just talking audio, and you started to tell me about my right toe. I'm like, oh, there's really nothing wrong. But by looking at that lack of growth, I'm like, there'd been something wrong for 3 months, and I was not even aware. And I was just like, I mean, you tapped into other things and something we worked on, but I don't know. I
That
found that very curious and interesting that you're the ease and the quickness that you're able to do that. And we weren't even looking for that, if you will. Right. So,
yes, I look at the clients and things show up. I don't dig around. I allow the information to come
mhm.
in. And it happened so quick, Catherine. It happened so quick, like fraction of a second. Boom. It's like I see lots of things and then I allow more, and then more information comes in. And when I tell people, I see something in your waist or something there, and they say, no, I don't have a pain there. I tell them, look, when I see it, I see it, you
Mhm.
know? And couple of minutes later, half an hour later, all of a sudden they feel the pain. I said, What's that? It was always there, but you weren't aware of it. You
Right.
were numb to your own body.
Like my toe, I wasn't aware, and this had started a couple of months before I even met you, and but I wasn't aware, and then I could tell by that growth how long it had been progressing. So I
Yeah.
just, yeah, I'm fascinated by it, and I'm fascinated by what you can see and people like you who can see because I don't visually see in the same way. And
Mm.
we had done an ancestral healing session together because I was like, I got this repeated pattern that I thought was healed, and well, it wasn't. But at the end, not so much about the healing, you had shared with me that you could see two of my ancestors present that were not the ancestor that I was working on the challenge with, but two others that were holding space. And one of them wasn't really doing anything. You had described her, and I know you work with all kinds of people, don't remember, but to me, it was poignant. You're like, she's got this hunchback and she's just there. And I've been thinking about it off and on since, and I told my mother about it, who, like you said earlier, about your parents. My parents are like, don't do this work, right? This is not the path. And so there's been this resistance from my family for the energy work that I've done off and on for decades. So, anyways, I told my mother, who has had this belief, well, when you're dead, you're dead. And I'm like, I don't believe that, but you believe what you want. And so when I told her you saw the hunchback, she's like, or that's what she said, oh my God, the hunchback, that's my father's mother. And I,
Yes.
I was like, maybe she just was there to help my mother understand that this is real. Do you know what I mean? She didn't do any healing, but she was just holding space, and it was just a powerful ripple effect in my family. And I was like, oh, you could see her. I'm like, I want to be able to see like that. Do you? And that is a question I get from people like, do you train people to see like that? Or is it you had an experience, that you described that all of a sudden this ability to see came online? Like, how does that work for people?
Uh, even Ron asked me,
Yeah.
years ago. Um, and then other people ask me, I tell them, look, I can't teach you because there was something that happened to me,
Yeah.
and it was a near-death experience as a kid. I could have been died in a hospital from this overdose,
Mm-hmm.
blew my third eye and crown chakra open, but I survived. And decades later, it was just boom, it was there. So I don't know how to teach it.
Okay.
Like if you can see, you see.
Right.
If not, then maybe you can tap with your intuition or you can make something up, you know. Usually people who have a little bit the seeing abilities, when they know the structure, which I could teach them, when
Okay.
they know the structure and they train on it, they could be develop this too. It's like a muscle, but I'm doing it for close to 7 years right now, and I worked on it obsessively. 2,500 readings on Clubhouse over the past 4 years,
Wow. Wow. That's a lot.
It's like, and then I got stronger and stronger and stronger.
Well, it's like with anything, right? With any gift or thing you want to become better at, you work at it over and over. There's that book or that saying, it's like it takes 10,000 hours to master something. So you continue to do it. And it sounds like from everything you've described, because of that, you're faster, you're quicker, it just comes. Um,
But it's also the confidence, I'm very
yeah.
confident now. It's like this, I don't need to force any information. I just lean back, allow, and the information just flows in. And then, so it's a little bit talent, a little bit gift, and lots and lots of practice.
Okay. So there
And
is
this,
that practical side, the practice.
yes, you need to
Okay. Awesome.
practice. Like without practice, getting in touch with people,
Mm-hmm.
some of them, uh, can be a little bit draining. They're stubborn. It's like they don't want to know the truth, but they want to heal. It's like they have their foot on gas and brake at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in a car, like they brake and put the gas on. It's like your feet are both on the gas and on the brake at the same time. You
Okay.
can't move forward, but you're burning up energy.
Gotcha.
That
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So how does someone know, like say someone listening to this podcast or a video, they want to do ancestral healing. Like they have things in their life that haven't resolved. They've tried all the things and they're looking, how do they know what ancestral healer to work with? Because is it just resonance with you? It's such a buzzword right now, and has been for a while. And there's some really gifted healers. There's many different ways to do ancestral healing.
Yes.
And then there's a lot of either not talented or fraudulent people out there as well. So how does someone know who to work with, like, or who's the real deal?
That's a good question because uh,
Sorry.
it
Sorry.
it do you really want to like heal this stuff? When people find the right healer,
Mm-hmm.
they can't lie and they are at the end. They drop down on their knees.
Yeah.
It's like, please God, and then it's like they find the right person. And prior to that, it's like it's more, I'm gonna do a little bit healing, that's it's not gonna work out like that. Like it's intense work, you
Oh
know.
yeah. Yeah.
It's intense work. And it's like is in our case right now, how did we bump into each other on Clubhouse and did the ancestral healing? Uh,
Well, I think that was divine timing in the
yes,
sense that, if I can share, we know some mutual people, but we didn't know each other. And I hadn't been on Clubhouse in a couple of years. And I had asked Spirit to send me particular types of people to interview. And there you and Ron were talking, and I knew Ron. And I just kind of listened. But then one day, you and I were chatting, and you started describing a vision to me that you could see. You had asked for permission, but I'd had the same vision the night before about someone else. And you were like, no, that's your ancestor in your field. And I just had this knowing inside, this is the person I've been looking for to help me heal this particular issue of this recurrent thing that I thought I healed that kept showing up and didn't go. And so I just had this like, okay, I'm going to do that with him. And it just, unfolded. So, and I've worked with a lot of healers. So, and like you, I've started to trust my knowingness about certain things. But I just felt when you described that image, I was like, yeah, this is the path. And it wasn't easy. And it was a bumpy few weeks after that for me on my own, like energetically with like some of the stuff. And I think it's important to let people know that
it's a
we,
bumpy road.
yeah, like we hear, oh, everything's like roses and pretty
No, no,
things. And
no.
it
It's muddy.
sometimes sucks when you're going through it.
Yes, because according to Adyashanti, who's one of my favorite spiritual teachers, he said, your entire spiritual journey is destruction. But oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, that's why my life over healer or shaman, it's like you have no, it's like keep on going, don't settle down, keep on going, as if the universe is pushing you,
Yeah.
you know, that's why from my perspective, bad things happen to good people because the universe is shaking them up. It's like
Yeah.
you gifts, God gave you this gifts, to raise the consciousness, la la la. And that's why I won't find I did so much risky stuff, leaps of faith, jumping into the unknown. I don't know what's gonna happen. I didn't have any money. I said, okay, I'm gonna move. I'm just gonna go. It was exhausting. If I had a little bit more trust, but because I didn't know anything about spirituality back then, you
Mm-hmm.
know, if now I have trust, now when I go, I know it's going to be good. But back
Yeah.
then, like something within me was resisting. I want to control this journey, but it's actually the opposite. That's why accidents happened,
Mm-hmm.
slow you down.
Yeah.
Hey, you're too masculine. Come back to your feminine, relax. And if we're not listening, something bad will happen. And so we can sit down on our ass and really reflect.
Right. It's that proverbial wake up call, which
Yes,
it's great that we listen because I find, at least with certain family members of mine and others that I know, but I'll just focus on what I know. Sometimes they get the wake up call, but they stay in victimhood and don't use it as an opportunity to answer the call or grow or expand or release the past. They just stay stuck. Why do you think that is for some people?
What do you mean? They don't pick up the phone, you mean?
Yeah, like so they have the accident or the bad thing happen, like you said, but they don't learn from it. They don't evolve. They don't, yeah, pick up the phone to source or whatever. They stay stuck and they use that as another thing to blame or point the finger at, like why my life sucks, or I keep saying that word, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? Like, why do
Yes.
some people evolve and grow and change from it? And why does, and get curious like you did? And other people sometimes are just like, no.
Because there's lots of responsibility.
Okay.
And we are afraid of taking responsibility. Carl Jung said, the worst thing that can happen to a person is to really face themselves.
Mm,
You know,
yeah.
Jordan Peterson, you should be a monster. That's should be monster, absolute monster, and then learn how to control it. I said, yes, he's telling the truth. Carl Jung said there's a monster within all of us, a dark thing, dark traits.
Yeah.
Again, Jordan Peterson said, once in your life you're gonna be approached by a psychopath, you know, and the psychopaths thinks that you're stupid and gullible and you should be taken advantage of because it's so fun to take advantage of a stupid person. And then he said how to overcome it. He said, build your own psychopath within yourself, but learn how to control it and know how to deal with this kind of people, you know?
That's an interesting perspective. Yeah.
So the spiritual journey is facing this monster. And again, Jordan Peterson said, everyone is full of snakes. We're hiding it well. And spirituality is a beautiful place to hide everything.
Yeah, that's a
It's-
whole concept for another time because we're getting short on time. That
yes,
spiritual bypassing and ignoring and
yes.
all the things. That's really fascinating.
But I can tell you, but
No,
I
it's
can
okay.
tell you what the fear is within person, because many people complain about the narcissist,
Right.
and all of a sudden they realized they have the same qualities within themselves, and
Yes.
it was just a reflection. But when you acknowledge that and you have control over, and you don't allow it to take over your mind, your body, and spirit, and behave like a narcissist, but confront a narcissist with its own tools,
Yeah.
you know, then it's like you are whole. You looked at these parts within yourself, you
Hmm.
know, and accepted it. Yin Yang positive, and when you face someone who has these dark traits, you know how to deal with these people. you
Right.
know you're not come let's have an argument. Let's it's like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's awesome. I was thinking about my own inner narcissist and situations that happened in the past, which we won't dive into, but yeah, you just
Everyone has it.
everyone. And like you said, when we see these traits in other people, if we begin to shift the perspective and recognize that we have them internally
Yes.
and learn how to work with them, it's not a blame game, right? And the internal, learn how to work with that, we can really shift our own selves in so many ways. I could talk to you forever, Fatih, on all of these things, and we are getting short on time. I wanted to ask you,
Hmm.
consciousness, you brought that up. And that is like the title of the podcast. What is consciousness to you or mean to you?
I believe consciousness is everywhere. It's a tree has a consciousness. Everything is conscious, like this entire universe is conscious,
Mhm.
as a whole. But when we are born, I can grab into Islamic mysticism a bit. We are born with this self, which is the nafs. The
Mhm.
self wants to be, I am this, I am that, that's me and that's the universe. And it's not, and when we become conscious of it, that we are one, there is this part within ourselves, that wants to be, continue with this I am, and the soul wants, I want unity with everything. And that's where the internal battle starts.
Mhm.
And consciousness is like the more you're on the spiritual, the more conscious you become. And I realized I have to sacrifice so much things within myself, even my identity, you know,
Yeah.
to become consciousness myself without identification. And that requires to die before you die. Get
Hmm.
rid of identification, you are one with everything.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
That's beautiful. Yeah, identity, that's a whole other can of worms that we don't have time for today. I have so enjoyed talking to you about this. And I know there's so much more to talk about on ancestral healing and stuff. But if someone resonates with you and feels like I did, like, oh, this is someone I would love to work with, how can they find you? And of course, we'll put it in the show notes, but
Okay,
okay.
www.turan-therapy.com.
Okay.
Turan is my last name.
Mhm.
You can find me there or over Instagram, The Healing Artist's Way. You know, I was doing that stuff, shortly because I had the last time actors coming in, you know.
Mm,
It's like I'm an actor as well, and I do healing, and actors ask me about the character. And I tell them, look, every movie has a spiritual meaning. You don't see it.
yeah.
When you become aware, when you become conscious of it, you start to see it. So
Mhm.
what you do, you bring your own spirituality, your own consciousness into the character and connect it with the character's consciousness, and use
Cool.
these traumas into the character because the audience doesn't see you as a physical person. The audience sees your aura and authenticity and energy, and that's what sticks out within an actor. So I
Yeah.
was teaching these actors, and I changed the name of my Instagram to The Healing Artist Way.
Okay. That's
So
awesome. I love it. The Healing Artist Way on Instagram. People can also find you on Clubhouse if they want to lurk or listen to, right? If that's okay. And
medical intuitive, yeah.
medical intuitive. Yeah, I would love to talk more about that. But the medical intuition, I'm fascinated by it and fascinated by the gifts. So thank you for sharing some of your insights on that. Is there anything you want to leave our viewers with before we wrap up, or any final thoughts that you'd like to share?
Yes, whatever happened to you in your life, it does not matter. Whatever happened, pray for your parents and accept them the way they are. That's 50, 60% of the healing. It's like when you accept your mom, you accept God and the universe.
Okay.
When you accept your dad, you accept the mind. It's like the mother is the subconscious mind, your physical body.
Hmm.
And your dad is your mind, you
Yeah.
know. So never title them with narcissist, even though they did some bad things, but accept them. You are, as a healer, are born into a dysfunctional family to restructure everything. So be loving to your parents and pray for them. That's my message.
Oh, that's really beautiful. And I will take heed of that as well. But thank you again for being here today, Fatih. I look forward to continuing this conversation with you. We're going to dive into some psychic surgery content the next time we speak. So if you guys are interested in Fatih's work, come back for that. Look for him on his website, on Instagram, on Clubhouse, or just reach out to me. I'll send you the links or they'll be in the show notes. But thank you all for your time, energy, and persistence today, being with us till the end. We really appreciate you all, and we will see you next time. Bye bye for now.